Yo, what is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Shooting the Shit Uncensored. You know who this is. It's the dad bod god, the bald, the beard, and the fucking beautiful Piers Austin. And tonight, man, we got a special one for you guys, man. Seriously, we got the one, the only, the Ayatollah of the fucking wrestling world, baby. We got Ben Hamin, man, and I am excited to have Ben on. Anybody who has known this podcast knows that I speak very highly of Ben. He's a mentor of mine. He's a good brother. I appreciate him, and I'm excited to have him on the show because every time we talk, it's an amazing conversation, and you guys are in for a fucking treat. But before we get into that, you know I need to take a quick pause for the cause to tell you about Sleefs.com. That's SLEEFS, Sleefs.com. If you or someone you know is a fucking athlete, you need to go and check out Sleeps. They've got all your athletic gear and wear covered. They've got your armbands, compression pants, compression shorts, headbands, boots, mouth guards, and they've even got those dirty fucking boxes that you always hear me raving about. I'm telling you guys, I am one of the most active people you will ever friggin' hear about. Seriously, I work full time. I go to the gym every day. I chase after my 3 crazy kids, my crazy wife. Just kidding, darling. But these boxes stay dry, they stay fresh, and they've got funky designs on the front to keep that special person in your life, giggling on what's on the outside of your trunks and not what's inside them. A little bit of a dick joke there, but anyway, guys, I digress. Go and check out Sleeps.com. Use that promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount. Also, wherever you are finding us, wherever you are tuning in, please make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the bell to stay notified, tap the link and tap in, because I'm telling you now, you are not going to see a better podcast that is bringing out better conversations than this one right fucking here. So do it yourself a favor and do yourself a favor as well and tap in. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, do me a favor, please, and give me a 5-star review. It helps us bring more amazing conversations to more amazing people like yourselves. But without further ado, let's try and get into my conversation now with the one, the only, the motherfucking Ben Hamin, baby! Ben Hamin, what's going on, brother? Welcome back.
Yes, rise and praise, morons. Hacker Hamin is back down under, and I don't care about your reverse Coriolis effects, because I'll give you a $5 face slap and spin you right around the other way, morons. Your pathetic kangaroos don't impress me. Your wallabies don't impress me. Your shrimps on the Barbie, I'll flip it all over, and you'll be picking sand out of your ass for the next 9 and 11 months, moron. I'm back here on Shooting the Shit Uncensored with the man, Dad Bod God, Piers Austin. Rise and praise, YOLO.
It's always great to get a Ben Hamin promo to start off the podcast, brother.
Always.
Man, how you been, dude?
Yeah, I'm great, man. I loved that intro. What such energy, and to see where you've come as a where did you come? Where how far you've come as a performer, man, and finding your own voice and all the success you're having in Australia on the wrestling scene, the MMA scene, sponsorships, developing your own brand, the Piers Austin podcast brand. From where it started in inception to where you are now, just incredible amount of effort, work, growth. And I love to see everyone shining who's a creative like that when they put in the work and they start to reap the benefits more than just the labor of love of it. And when you can combine those two and start to make your hobbies into your career, man, I think that you're just reaching a level of enlightenment and entertainment that most people can only dream about and strive for, dude. So I'm super proud of you. Big shout out to all the Aussies, oi, turning in down here. Shout out to my Australian man, Steve the Shoe Man, bootmaker extraordinaire out there as well, and everybody who's just supporting wrestling and fight sports, and Hamin Media Group, channelattitude.com, and Russo brand. And obviously you're right there as an associate with all the Piers Austin branding that's going on, dude. But I'm glad to be back, man, and thanks for inviting me.
No, man, it's always good, bro. And you know, I remember what I said, bro. Like in this podcast game, I feel like you have been like my mentor, so to speak. There's always been someone who's there to give advice and sort of like point me in the right direction. And also in the wrestling business, you know, to some degree, man. And I feel like I owe a lot of thanks to you, for what I have seen, man. So I appreciate you, man.
Oh, thanks, man. You're very welcome. The best will always find each other. I'm a big proponent of that, and we're connected. And right now, from my missile silo, 200 feet underground in undisclosed classified location in America, all the way to Australia. What an unbelievable use of technology to talk about phony wrestling bullshit.
Man, 100%, bro. And you know what? Like that's where, like, I think, you know, the technology today, and I was actually talking about this with a friend of mine the other day, is like how we were growing up. It's like we never had like mobile phones. Like I didn't have a mobile phone till I was like 17, 18, right? Like legit. You know
It
what I
was
mean?
when I
Like,
went to college in 1990 that I got my first one as well, right? So, but
but
that's
you know
the
what I
thing
mean?
that it first came out too. So,
But like my 4-year-old can pick up my iPhone and know what to do with it. You know what I mean? Like better than I can. It's like, man, I caught her watching TikTok the other day, bro, and I was like, fuck no. Like
yeah.
on the iPad, I was like,
Yes.
dude, that's crazy shit, man.
Mhm.
You know. But like, how do you find like as far as because like you're so like involved in like the media world and media side of things, and social media is such a big part for promotion. But how do you find like the balance of like because I know you probably spend a lot of time on social media, but like how do you find the balance of like from social media and work and like disconnecting from that side of things?
Oh yeah, it's an interesting question. To be honest with you, I really don't. I really don't disconnect because being the general of the HMG Army and the owner, and being Russo's business partner as well, and then locally I have about 7 clients, not even locally, I'd say across America, because I have clients in Chicago as well, that I manage their social media every day. So a lot of different brand voices, from sports memorabilia to donuts to suits. So I have to change it, but really I've been cheating lately, and I don't mind it because I change a couple words, and it's not cheating. It's interesting of how you're talking about the amount of technology that's in children's hands, right? And
Yeah.
we want everyone to come up under, I had to go through this fiery hoop, so you have to go through the fiery hoop, even though the reality is the tool has changed and now we need to change our learning method. So I've been using Chat GPT to help write my client post. Chat GPT write me a Facebook post for Ava Tulo suits selling the new Calvin Klein spring collection. Bing. And keep it under 75 words. It comes back with a paragraph in 3 seconds that would take me 2 to 3 minutes to write, check it, and do all that. Now I've just cut my production time down by 66%, so it's about the tools and how you use them and to increase time. But I really, to go back, I'm just a psychopath when it comes to work. I mean, I claim that I have 432 wives and over 1,100 children, but the reality is I got dogs and one wife, and my life is performance and business. So for me, I go about 120 days straight, work from 7 in the morning till probably 10 or 11 at night. No days off. The only days off are when I'm on the road wrestling. And then usually the wife and I take a shot to the Caribbean. I think we're going to Jamaica at the end of next month. So that's how it takes me about a day or two to decompress when I'm there, because my mind is segmented into so many different constant moving pieces then once I get in the ocean, once I smoke a fat blunt, once I have a couple of rum drinks, that I can finally chill out and relax for 4 or 5 days, come back and do it all over again, man. That's kind of how my production schedule is. It's never ending, and it's constant solutions to problems. My my cannabis seed company, horseshoegenetics.com, I had a help desk ticket in, and the place that hosts it erased all the plugins in it. The whole website's down. So they needed to fix one thing, and instead they terminated the site because they were lazy and didn't want to follow up. So now I get to deal with 20 to 80 hours of rebuilding a website that is a must for my income, and to do it with a smile based off of somebody who offshore who effed it all up, so it can be a headache some days, and then other days you pioneer new business and you score a new client and you take your company up 5% from where it was last year. So it's always ebb and flow, wins and losses, man. So I try and do it with a smile and take nothing too personally. And my release is to get in the ring and beat the shit out of infidels. So
yeah. That's the stress relief, getting in there and just getting the slapping the shit out of people. Yeah, and I see like the $5 face slap, like the one that you did the other day, and it was like, as soon as I saw, like, we were talking about this before, like we went live, is like the power slap like thing. As soon as I saw that, I was like, straight away I thought of you. I was like, this has been Hamin's fucking like calling right here.
A lot of people have hit me up with that because it was underground, and the Ben Hamin $5, the $10 $5 face slap as it is now for inflation. So they pay $10 and they only get $5 worth. It never was meant to be fucking doing anything, but these hardcore wrestling fans want to be a piece of the show so much. And it's really to test, like, will you pay somebody to slap you in the face and you get nothing back except a hit of celebrity and some Instagram likes, you know what I mean? Or whatever it is, YouTube likes. And they do. 61 people have said yes. And it was never meant to be that. And we had a pretty interesting conversation, John Hartnett and I, on the Friday Locker Room on Channel Attitude. And it really has me questioning kind of going forward and doing it. I say that now, but in the moment, I'll probably do it. Because we were talking about Jamie Hayter chopping fans at shows because they're the same psychos that want a piece of it, and probably the only female contact a lot of them have. So that is like John Hartnett's been in UFC. He was American Top Team manager for years under Dan Lambert, and he's Colby Covington's right-hand man as well. And I'm so lucky to have him on the Friday Locker Room the past couple of weeks and part of the Hamin Media Group. But he told a story about why she should stop doing it, because Chuck Liddell and I believe Matt Hughes, if I remember correctly, like, fans would come up and be like, put me in a chokehold for the picture, right? And even if it was a work and it looks like it's shoot or not, but somebody later claimed that they had issue from it, sued UFC. It was just a lawyer, like, hey, we got something here. And they lost, even though the people who wanted the picture said, yeah, do it, da-da-da. Some lawyer fucking wormed his way through, and UFC had to pay out pretty boku bucks. Now, if they come and hacker Hamin, you're not going to get much more than an old laptop and some fucking joint roaches. So if you want them, I guess you can have them. But there is a big lesson in there for Jamie Hayter and myself of like, all right, this is a very strange performance art, and we can cross the lines very easily and dangerously in a way that could put companies at risk. And somebody might go at Jamie Hayter, she might not have much of a pot to piss in either, but Tony Khan sure does. And if you want a fast payday with the right lawyer, like that could be a possibility. So very interesting talk on the $5 face slap. It is a strange phenomenon. You can go to my YouTube channel, Ben Hamin, and just look up, or Ben Hamin $5 face slap on YouTube if you want to see idiot fans getting slapped in the face very hard, very real.
But like, it's funny because I see here in Australia, like, some performers do that as well. Like, fans will go, like, want to get chopped by him and stuff like that.
Sure.
And it's like, man, like, if that fan just moved in the wrong way, or, you know what I mean? Because it's like, you know what I mean? Like, when a worker's getting chopped, like, they sort of know how to sort of take it and kind of brace for it, as silly as it may sound. But if a fan turn around, does something crazy, like David Arquette when he did that fucking thing with Nick Gage and flipped out. It's that sort of shit, like that last second thing, and you smack him in the face and knock their teeth out.
Yeah, everything can go bad at any second, man. And we actually got not reamed out, but warned by the New York State Athletic Commission at the last show, because in this it's as harmless as it can be, but anything can go wrong, and it's those guys' jobs as regulators to be like, you're not doing that on the show or we're going to fine you. So there's a spot on the indies, which they do at PWG, where they go around and the crowd chops the wrestler, right? So we had a little kid in the crowd and they went over and chopped him, and then the wrestler sells, in a match. But it's that a fan chopping a wrestler, even if it's supposed to be cute and innocuous, is a no-no, because if you open that Pandora's box, now we start, where do we push it next? And then things can easily get out of hand. Somebody can get hurt, maimed, killed, what have you. And now we have major lawsuits. And lawsuits against the New York State Athletic Commission, because nobody stopped it and allowed them to do that too. So we love this weird performance art so much, and they want to be a part of it, but there needs to be, I guess, a line. And I'm very guilty of having crossed that line many times. But it was a great conversation. If you guys subscribe to channelattitude.com, $5 a month, the Friday Veteran Locker Room with even more stooge offs with top UFC guys possibly being out at the bar or strip club before their big upcoming matches, and I try and keep some serious locker room talk on those shows. Plus we have all the review shows, but a great conversation about the $5 face slap, the Jamie Hayter stuff, and tying it back into lessons that have already set a precedent from Chuck Liddell and Matt Hughes. So very cool combo.
It's crazy. I never knew that about Chuck Liddell and Matt Hughes and the lawsuit and UFC getting fucked.
Probably by design. I imagine the dude probably had to sign an NDA and get paid off. But John sent me a YouTube video on it yesterday. I still haven't watched it yet, but probably because I don't want to be like, fuck, I got to really stop.
But like, that's the same thing. Like I see like with deathmatch wrestling, and you see that as like where fans are so close and there's shards of glass and fucking shit flying into the audience. Like, bro, if I'm going to a show, like, or like to even anything like a night of theater or a concert or a fucking whatever it is, I don't expect to get injured. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, and I shouldn't expect to get cut up.
That's why these shows are underground, and they're grindhouse level art of performance art, and the fans that go see them are just as fucked up and would love to get a piece of fluorescent light bulb in their eye as some weird badge of honor, but it doesn't make it right. And it's really about how far everything in the Coliseum started out as two guys fist fighting. Then we're going to throw a fucking chain in there. Hey, give one guy a sword. Give both guys swords. You know what we need? A lion. Get a lion in there. You know what else? Hey, let's run around on horses with swords hanging off of our chariots and kill each other. Hey, there's somebody still alive. Fight to the death. Like, this is just humanity, right? Where we start. And how fucked up can we make it? It's in our DNA, the ape monkey mind combined with whatever alien DNA recombinant technology they did to turn us into humans in ancient alien theory. And now here we are, bloodthirsty, very capable of love, but at the same time, very capable of insane violence. You know what I mean? It's a very crazy yin and yang to deal with in society. But for some reason, we keep repeating this over and over and over and over.
I think it's because people have a desire to see brutality. You know what I mean? Like it's like something that they, you know what I mean? It's almost like the punk rock scene. It's like, you know what I mean? Like these people that just want to go and just bash into each other and
nature's violent, bro. We made society to be civil, but we are mammals. We are nature, and nature is when a fucking when a killer whale rolls up on a gang of seals, it ain't good for the seals. You know what I mean? They might all live in harmony in nature together, breathe the same water and or air through it, but when the shit goes down in nature, it's a cruel bitch. And as much as we try and say we're not a part of that, we prove that there's something in our animal DNA that needs that as much as we're capable of love on the other side. I think it's a very interesting study in the human condition.
Yeah, man, it's kind of fucked up because it's almost like, like if you're driving down the street and you see like two people like get out of their cars and beat the fuck out of each other, you're gonna be like walking past, like you're gonna be driving past, but you're gonna be slowing down. You're gonna be wanting to, holy shit, I want to see this. It's not like I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. It's like whenever there's a confrontation or a physical violent act about to be done, no one's going to be going, I don't want to fucking see this. I'm out of here. They're going to be like, no, I'm going to see how this shit's going to play out.
And it's interesting because I watch World Star Hip Hop every day for that exact reason. But then there's sometimes now where I've watched World Star for years, and now the amount of like got caught lacking, smoked by his ops, where people are just walking up on people doing hits in the street, bro. And like they're on camera because there's cameras everywhere. Maybe it was going on before, but I don't think so. I think the ignorance of the repercussions of your actions have never been higher, especially when it comes to the value of human life and taking human life, and that people are just doing it and they don't understand how quickly everything changes for them, that person's family, the echo of waves of negativity and energy. But there's a lot more snuff films on World Star every day. And I've come to the point, maybe just in my older age, where I don't want to see that as much, or before it'd be like, I got to see what this fucking freak show shit is, And now I respect life, and maybe that's just getting older, and just, I don't want to see people do that. Even as far as we are in this world of crazy politics, where war with China, Taiwan, fucking Ukraine, Russia, whatever's going on, man. Just the loss of life, how we've learned nothing from 20 years ago, from the 20 years before that in the Vietnam era. We just stay stuck on stupid and don't value life. Meanwhile, we love everyone around us, and all those people dying got the same family structure, same effed up cousins and whatever it is, but we don't even have at least in the 60s, Vietnam, they had a hippie peace movement. Nobody's talking peace, bro. Nobody's talking like, let's smoke a fat one and fucking listen to some old school hip hop and whatever it is, man, and come together right now over me, So that's the scary part of where we are now. It's just all inflated, nonstop hype of like, get angry, get mad, fucking have a reaction, be cancel culture, toxicity, whatever it is. And there's no like, love you, bro. Hopefully you're doing well today. You know what I mean?
And that's where I've always said about cancel culture, because like I saw like so much of this shit happen, and it's like these people in their early 20s who would like do some dumb shit. And I'm not talking like serious shit where they've seriously harmed someone, but I'm talking about like some goofy fucking dumb shit, right? And then people are going, oh, this person should be canceled. Bro, like when I was fucking 21, 22, I was a dumb motherfucker and I said some dumb fucking shit, and I was an uneducated dumb motherfucker. And I'm sure to some degree you were the same at some point, right?
Yeah,
like
I set the standard at that time, and I probably said some dumb shit last week that I regret. So, it doesn't change, but to go back and like, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire for something from 1999 that you fucking had on MySpace or whatever the fuck. Like, there's no, like, if that's what they need to spend their life on, to do that, to hurt somebody else, the person doing that's got way bigger issues. And like, why would you even want to focus on that to like, Schadenfreude hurt somebody, and like now we're all like, yeah, get them, that mob mentality. Meanwhile, the people who really need the mob mentality, who go to the G20 summit, the Davos group, the fucking the 1500 masters that shut us down in a prison planet for 2 years and then go, no, we didn't lie about it, and then they get caught lying about everything, and we don't turn our mob mentality on them with pitchforks and torches, but we're here stabbing our neighbor who are in the exact same boat rowing with us and going, then when we should all be rowing together, and they're on the cruise ship, the masters, when we're trying to catch up to them, like, those are the people that need to have our negative attention and should live in a life of complete fear that somebody's coming to take them out, because then they wouldn't be doing evil shit at Pfizer. Then they wouldn't be doing that, because they don't have a healthy fear. They're just in control, and they know that as long as they keep us at odds with each other, we'll never come for them. It's a classic misdirection wrestling spot.
Oh, 100%. And I think like where I was going with before, like I think these young people, instead of being cancelled, it's like, why don't we educate them? All right, you know what I mean? Like, like saying goofy shit. All right, listen, you know what I mean? Like someone older pulling aside and say, listen, that's not appropriate. All right, put your fucking head in. Basically, this is how you need to be an adult. But like as far as like the whole cancel culture goes, it's like it's interesting because you saw like Andrew Tate like getting arrested, and he made a pretty bold statement months beforehand, going with cancel culture, they take away your platforms, they cancel you. You still keep talking, they fucking arrest you. You still keep fucking going, they fucking kill you. And it's like once he's been arrested, he hasn't really fucking said much. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah, and the story that the girls who claimed that they were being sex trafficked or whatever, and I don't doubt that he's got some weird, OnlyFans factory going on right there to get the money from some insta hoes, but those girls colluded to bring him down, and I don't doubt that it was somebody that put those girls up to it, that they're not the masterminds to hurt that guy's brand. Why? Because he was saying truths that the power structure doesn't want. At one time, his controversy created cash for them. Then he said what they didn't want to say and expose the game, expose Logan Paul as a CIA op that of how they control things. And I completely believe that to be true as well.
really?
And fuck yeah, bro. You think just because these guys are blonde haired dudes who went over and taped some Japanese suicide fucking forest that like that's going to get them over, or that they even have an opinion that's valid in entertainment and have paid the dues to pass on any knowledge? Of course they haven't. And then they pay the dues in their own little boxing ring, but every fight they've had is a work, bro. And you think the CIA is not completely involved in YouTube and banning and shadow banning, and if they are there, that they don't get to say who's going to be the next California Holly weird influencer? 100%, they're doing that, in my opinion. So when Andrew Tate says it, it's not just to be like, oh, I'm going to get those guys. Why would he actually say that? What does that benefit for him to do that? And after he said it, arrested. And then the next thing is, they will try and kill you, bro. And you think, go look at the Hillary Clinton kill list. Like it's exactly that, right? He was on the inside exposing. They can't control him, so you got to go, bro. Or he's gonna stay small as fuck now that he gets out and prove that that was a conspiracy against him for the next 3 to 4 years, and they'll be looking at him like, will he say anything? You know what I mean? So. And if he does, then he'll be clipped. Oh, he just happened to OD on pills with a red scarf around his neck, and it was tied to a doorknob. You know what I mean? Like, you go back with the dude from Lincoln Park, Chester Bennington. You do talk about what's his name from his buddy from Soundgarden, Chris Cornell, bro. Look into Chester Bennington being John Podesta's illegitimate kid. and they look identical to each other. They had the list of whatever the Pizzagate thing was supposedly, and they were gonna blow the whistle on it. And Chester Bennington won the Clinton Foundation scholarship, like to go to school and college, like all these things that never come out. They're like, front man Chester Bennington passed away today. Isn't that sad? And we go right on when there's really a whole litany of things underneath the surface here, and we just forget about it and keep on going and trucking. And the same thing will be the story of Andrew Tate, unfortunately.
It's weird that you mentioned Chester Bennington, because like I feel like for me now, like if I listen to Linkin Park like now, and I'm a big fan of like listening to acoustic fucking versions of like artists that do when they strip their shit down. Yeah. And when you really listen to like an acoustic version of their shit and you hear them singing it and you hear the pain in his voice, it's like, fuck, man, this guy was telling people for years that he's fucking gonna do this. Like it's kind of like a Kurt Cobain thing, Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the Sonny Ono. Sorry to cut off here. I'm just looking in the chat. I'm not sure if it's the legendary WCW legend Sonny Ono in the house hanging with us. You guys can check him out on Stevie Ray TV. Great Tokyo Heat. Some awesome bro conversation between 10-time tag team champions Stevie Ray and Sonny Ono. So love watching those guys as well and having them in the universe of HMG and Russo brand, as well as I see your followers and some HMG loyalists here too. But with the Kurt Cobain thing, sorry to go back to it, another one, you know, anything that's in this weird Hollywood Sony music, you know, spectrum, from Michael Jackson to to Bill Cosby, to be honest with you. I'm not trying to go to bat for a guy with 59 fucking rape allegations against him, but he wanted to buy in on NBC. And as soon as that happens, all this shit drops. Michael Jackson wants to own his masters. Sony drops it on him and all the fucking pedo stuff that like, I'm not saying these guys aren't doing those types of weird things, but they're may have been forced to do them just for the blackmail factor. So the real owners that Kanye West seems to go after, and you might see him with a Chester Bennington fucking situation sooner than later as well, bro. Dave Chappelle, he said the thing they do to dismiss you is call you crazy, right? Why would Dave Chappelle walk away from $50 million and then they try and fuck him over 6 ways to Sunday? Something bigger is going on. It's not just, oh, those bald-headed, bearded conspiracy theorists are back at it again. Bro, let me show you one after the other. And when a pattern like that stacks up, you decide. I don't need to convince you. It's not, do I know Dave Chappelle, Kanye? Well, I met Kanye once, but do I know those guys personally? Not yet, but I've been studying this shit for 25 years, right? So same old secret society that we don't tear down, whatever.
Yeah, man. And it's interesting because it's like you see like so much stuff that comes uncovered over the years. And it's like you saw like the Michael Jackson stuff. It's like Michael Jackson, all of the stuff that came out, like, bro, it's kind of hard not to fucking believe he was even that. But I feel like once you're accused of that sort of shit, like there's no going back. You can be proved innocent, but soon as you're accused of that shit, that's what you were labeled at for the rest of your life.
Yeah, dangling your kid off of a fucking balcony and getting your nose done 58 ways. And dude, this is the entertainment business, and there's 3 types of people in this business: carnies, queers, and addicts. And sometimes you're a combination of all 3, a combination of 2, whatever it is. And that can be addiction to spotlight that drives you, addiction to a drug. Cocaine's a hell of a drug for some people, right? And there's always a weird LGBTQ hand over it all. You know what I mean? And strange things. And even if it's straight side of the casting couch of Harvey Weinstein, I call that queer behavior. That's not normal behavior. It's not a stab at anybody who lives a alternative lifestyle. These are behaviors that are outside of the norm. And then Carney has been around since, you know, as long as to go back to those Roman times. A lot of these works were still going on at that time. And it's how can we fleece the everyman out of their money through fear advertising, fear marketing, or if you do this, then you can be like this superhero, right? Well, that's all Carney tricks, bro. Then it's been going on since Barnum and Bailey and the county fairs and the games and all that kind of stuff. So,
but it'll never disappear though, bro. Like there's
people
always
like to be tricked. They like it, bro. They like being in a fantasy, man, because reality's too tough sometimes.
But even like like in the wrestling business as well, like that, you know, you mentioned the carnies, the queers, and the addicts, and you know what I mean. Like you see that so clearly, like on certain things. Like I get messages from some promoters, and it's just like, "Hey man, we'd like to book you," and I'm like, "All right, cool." I'll go and have a look at like, all right, how'd they draw the last show, and like what a thing, or I'll ask around, and then it's like, all right, is this worth me giving up a Sunday away from my 3 kids and my wife to go and, you know, hang out in a fucking RSL club for a few hours?
And you do, and the answer is you probably do that, which makes you addicted to the spotlight, a carny, and we'll go with it, you know, and that's just what draws people to the entertainment business, bro. And then if anyone's offended out there, I give 2 fucks, really, because I've been living this shit since I was 12 years old. I've been on stage, man, so I've seen it all, you know, from every angle of it, and that's just how it is. The deal we make, and who we are, who love to entertain, man.
Yeah, exactly, man. I think there's definitely something about it, you know, when the lights go on and there's a microphone in front of you and it's like that opportunity to shine. Like it's just something about it where it's like I've had friends that don't do what we do, and then it's like they're like, oh man, like what's it like to stand there and have like that many people scream at you to suck a dick or like to, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I said it's fucking it's marvelous. I go like I always make sure to take a second and just drink that shit in.
Yeah, dude, you have to, because it's in that moment when you give them that power, they take that power that you only need when the USA chants going, I only need to go. And they, I don't have to say anything. Shut up. You know what I mean? And then they do it more. And you know, you got them in the palm of your hand, that the spotlight's on you. And it all goes back to some 4-year-old inner child of, tell me I'm a good boy, mommy or daddy. And like, you know I'm doing a good job. And again, that goes back to some strange how we're hardwired DNA wise. And if you know that, then let's play into it. But what can we do to get that moment at the highest, to get those people chanting "you suck dicks" or USA or whatever the fuck it is that gives them the power over us, and then to show that they think they have it, but we're really the conductor. We're the one conducting this whole symphony, because it's my 8 to 10 minutes in the ring. I'm letting you have that power, and I'm about to take it all back and shut it down with some heat. And we have this energy that is in the room that we're all kind of swimming in together. You know what I mean? And sometimes when you can almost feel the thickness of the air around you for their hatred or their joy of a payoff of, hey, they finally beat those son of a bitches, man. Like that's what, as performers, we're trying to create this energy. And sometimes when you really have it, you wish you could bottle it up and sell it, but it's an organic agreement between the audience and the performer that we're here live walking the tightrope in front of you, and we might F up, but if we don't and we stick the landing and our character is believable, I was able to help you escape to a reality or a fantasy that seemed like a reality, and you love me for it, even though you hate me, because we all want to have that nighttime story time tuck in moment where we go to dreamland, bro. And I love that that's in all of us. And if you become a master of your craft, you should be trying to pluck those strings and get back to that purest form. As a professional improviser, they said, we're going to go play, or I'm going to go watch a play. What are we doing? We're getting back to our childhood and actually playing and daydreaming, but we can do it now at a high level because we're adults and we know the human condition. So what we can improvise and do is at a much higher level. But what are we really trying to do? Get back to being 6 to 8 years old, using our imagination, playing, because when we hit puberty in our teens, you develop boobs, facial hair, zits, whatever, pubes, and everyone's going, oh, you're queer, like, da, da, da. Like, and you become self-conscious, and all that mind of imagination and play gets put on the shelf until we get to about 25, 30 and go, fuck, I want to get back to that. But we're so disconnected. How do we? And wrestling is one of those ways that we do get back to it.
Well, I've always said like wrestling is like it connects with people emotionally. It's got to connect on that emotional level, whether it's happy, sad, angry, scared, whatever it is. You've got you've got to draw that emotion from the crowd. And like I remember I asked like
let me just jump in here because you make a great point, and I'll just surmise that Del Close, the godfather of improv, would say the work can handle any subject if you approach it with the right respect. So you can do all those things. Exactly, you're spot on with that, and that's from my improv days. To be like, the work can handle anything from 9/11 terrorism to fucking gay marriage to whatever it is you want if you're going to approach it that way.
100%. And I remember asking a vet here on the Australian scene, is like before a show, I was like, wait, what can I do that's too much as a manager? Like, I don't want to take attention away from my guy. Like, you know, what can I do that's not over blah, blah, blah. And he just said, baby, you go out there and do you. It's up to your guy for him to get himself over. If you outshine him, that just shows that you're a better worker than him and probably should be the one taking the bumps. And I was like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, fair enough.
But it's he's not wrong, but it's an interesting line to walk, bro, because as a manager, and that's how I started on my career at OVW with the Insurgency. Ali and Omar Akbar, two phenomenal workers, super smart guys, and it just worked at that time while the Iraq War was going on. Yeah, shout out to CW. What an incredible experience in my life that was too. But Ali and Omar are very smart guys, and I'm very charismatic, and I was the mouthpiece for that, and it kind of bred jealousy because I could pull focus, or the heat was on me and it wasn't on them. And the guy you're working with and you're making money with can take that to heart, bro, and they can start to resent you for it. And I think that's what kind of happened with us, with silently. They wanted to shine on their own, and they're not wrong. And then the guy who gave you that advice isn't wrong. He needs to get himself over. But as a manager, our job is to facilitate that talent to get them to a place of where it is. Now, that being said, Andre the Giant got over himself because he's a giant, but he's with Bobby Heenan, right? And Bobby Heenan's over as fuck as well. So you can make the argument 15 different ways, but it is a balance of art by committee, where when it's that guy's time to shine, I'm going to stay small and be the supporting role. When it's my spot, the promo, the entrance, or the jump up where I get bipped off and take the bump, then it's about me. But if they're in the middle of the match and I'm on the outside going too hard, then maybe I need to tone down my performance a little bit and find it. That being said, the other side of that coin is you could have Jimmy Hart on the outside. Come on, baby. Come on, daddy. Da, 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 the whole fucking time, right? With the megaphone. So there's something, but because of that, if he's getting heat that whole time, the finish of that match is he goes to try and cheat, throws his guy the megaphone, the guy ducks, and his own guy bips Jimmy. Place goes nuts, right? It's not about the match. It's about Jimmy getting fucking bipped. But some guys with the ego and where we are as prima donnas in the performance, they just can't handle it. Like, but Hamin has all the fucking heat. Well, yeah, I do right now because I'm a good promo. People hate me. I'm resonating. It's the same as people being hot that Sammy didn't go over at the fucking pay-per-view. They don't understand the good business for him not to, but they wanted it that much, right? And I bet some of the guys in the Uso clan, when their fucking door closes, they're like, fuck, Sammy's taking our shine and we were on top and now he's above us. But we're all working together. But that's always human jealousy too, a little bit. We don't see it while we're in the middle of it sometimes,
No, and I think that's it, exactly right, but it's interesting because like you mentioned like Bobby Heenan, and I remember like after I did my first promo as a manager, I was like beating myself up about it because I was like, I went back and I was like, it's fucking terrible. And just, whatever. And then like a buddy of mine, who's a veteran was like, dude, sends me this promo of Bobby Heenan in like the early 70s, is like when he was just becoming a manager. And it was like, and he does this promo, and it wasn't crisp, it wasn't anything spectacular, but he was like, because I am Bobby, the beautiful, intelligent one, you know what I mean? And it's like, and my buddy was saying, he's like, see, he knew he had something there, but he just hadn't defined it. He goes, too many people want to be great straight away. He's like, you have to understand that was you went in head first on live pay-per-view and did that shit. And you know what I mean? You did the best of your ability with what you were given.
And now you can take that and polish it and get more hours. You didn't have the hours. You had the opportunity and the ability, and it didn't suck, but it's not the best you're capable of now comparatively in that performance. And that's a reason kind of why I was able to go to OVW, and I didn't outshine anybody, but my forte was promos and acting. Why? Because I've been on stage since I was 12, every musical you could ever fucking imagine that you've ever heard of, Rodgers and Hammerstein, and then to go to Chicago and do 6 years of professional improv, I've got a big jump in the acting side of. Most of these guys are athletes who need to learn acting afterwards, right? They can come in and take the bumps and they can get the timing down better than I can. But character-wise, I'm in 12th grade. They're in kindergarten still. Physically, they're in 6th grade. I'm in kindergarten still. You know what I mean? So we're all going to catch up to each other, but it's just about whatever you subscribe through, the 10,000 hour rule. You keep fucking hammering away, and even compare your early shows of, they were great with Wrestling with Tragedy with our boy Angel and everything that went on there to kind of open the door. compared to what I heard you do on the intro and how comfortable you are and even the equipment that you have, the difference in that. It's just a slow progression of leveling up your professionalism and more and
100%.
more reps, bro. That's what it comes to in anything in life. You're not going to step up to a canvas and fucking paint like Rembrandt out of the gate. That takes thousands of hours of learning, so that's just true to where you want to go. You got to have a love for it. Question for Ben Hamin: if you were in WWE, what of these 5 wrestlers would you want to manage? Gunther, Sergeant Slaughter, Omos, Apollo Crews, or Muhammad Hassan in 2005? Well, definitely Muhammad Hassan, and I would like to. And I've been able to work with Sergeant Slaughter and Muhammad Hassan. Very, very great experiences for me that were kind of bucket listers. Because even in OVW, I knew we had something, and I said, wouldn't it be awesome to Ali and Omar if we got to work with Duggan and Slaughter in some way? Right after I left OVW 2009, went back to Chicago for a year and a half, and then came back to New York where I got into 2CW, and I was there just to get something signed for a friend of mine's wedding who was a Terry Funk fanatic, and they saw me in line. They go, where are you from? You're a worker. I go, yeah, man, I was in OVW. Like, fuck yeah. And like, they bring me in. They're like, you're staying for the show? I was like, no, I got to go. So I even bounced, but they took my info and they said, 3 months from now, we got Hacksaw and Slaughter coming.
No shit.
To work them. So my first show was Living on the Edge. I want to say 7 or 8, but that was Brody Lee's last show before he went to WWE. So it was a very cool moment, kind of like him going and us coming in. But we got to work Slaughter and Hacksaw that weekend. Very, very cool experience. And then Muhammad Hassan, I always get this obviously from wrestling fans. You're not the Iron Sheik. You think you're Sabu. You're not Muhammad Hassan. I'm going to myself, you're fucking right. I'm Ben Hamin. I'm all of those guys and even more evil combined. What? And so they're like there's only one Arab guy in the fucking world,
Yeah.
I always dreamed of having, before 9/11, they talked about there was a terrorist summit in Yemen, I believe it was, where they all got together, Bin Laden and al-Zawahiri and whoever the fuck else. So then that could be a complete CIA setup and story, in my opinion. But regardless, I wanted to recreate that with Muhammad Hassan, the Insurgency, Sabu. I push Iron Sheik out in a wheelchair. There was there's the Almighty Sheik in PCW. Shout out to him. He fucking kicks ass too. Bring us all together in one scene, and then we can go out our separate ways and do everything like we're truly Al Qaeda, like Splinter Cells. And then the fans can shut the fuck up about it, thinking that they're smart. I've always wanted that scene. I've never gotten it, but the incredible thing is Muhammad Hassan is only about 40 minutes from me, and now he's a principal. Before that, he was vice principal, and it was kind of like they didn't want him to work wrestling things, and then there was a little window where he kind of was transitioning from one to another school, so he could. So Dynasty here booked him for 2 shows. I worked him twice. He's in fucking incredible shape, and I was probably at my fattest at that point, so I feel terrible about it. I was 60 pounds heavier than I am now, but he just looks awesome. Like he almost better than when he was on WWE TV, but he was the baby face. And I was the made heel in the territory. So when he came out, huge pops. There was actually the promoter's daughter was 8 years old, and she's singing the national anthem. I interrupt the national anthem. I go out, grab her by the hair, like people are losing their mind. And here comes Muhammad Hassan for the save, right? So I've been fortunate to work with him. And even though in the very first thing in that match, it'd probably been about 10 years since he worked, and he punched me hard as fuck in the face 5 times in a row. He hit me so hard, bro, with punches. And then I just had to give him the Tonga spike in the neck to slow him down. And I drew blood on him. I felt bad, but
really,
he almost knocked me out with the first 2 punches. And he just hadn't thrown working punches in 10 years. He wasn't being a dick to me. I don't think he was.
Plus, like the adrenaline pumping as well. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
he fucking rocked me. I'm not gonna lie. So I had to slow him down with a little violence in myself. I didn't want to, because he's a super great dude, man. Family guy and educator. I got a ton of respect for. But To back to your question, I'm happy to manage any of those guys. Apollo Crews, if they were really going to go full Nigerian warlord with him, pair him up with me, an Axis of Evil thing. Sergeant Slaughter, let's tease turning him back. You could, to be honest with you, if there's one person I'd like to manage right now in WWE or work with, it'd be Lacey Evans. If you're gonna do the soldier who's getting booed, you know what I mean? And you're going to do the Cobra Clutch, and as much heat as Sergeant Slaughter had, there's opportunity there if you want to keep her heel to reinforce that. And especially with the Saudi deal, all you need to do is play me as a babyface for the first time, her as a booed soldier who is beholden to Saudi masters and money, which is what we really are in America. Absolutely. But people don't want to fucking do that. So the evolution of my character would lend me to go to work with her over anybody else. You know what I mean? And I think Omos is, a once in a lifetime talent. That's just depending how you use a guy that size to get it over. But a great question, man. But I'm happy to work with any heel and extend my heat or get more heat on a baby face who needs to get over and have a hero's journey. But thank you, Alex Piers, for a great question.
What do you think of Omos as a wrestler?
I think he did a really good job with a simple match with Braun Strowman and Saudi. He showed that he can do more than just be the freak show and march him out, that he does have the want to try and emote. I don't know if that's something we need from him. You know what I mean? Because you got to be careful with a big man like that, because the second you go comedy, he's kind of ruined a little bit. Big Show, you could kind of say that with, right? Like they can get it over and you can do funny stuff, but there's there's a lot more value in a guy that's a 7-something footer that is athletic. Because a lot of times you get guys like El Gigante or what's the dude from India? I forgot. Sorry.
The Great Khali.
Unbelievable just to march him out and watch him walk down. Giants are some of my favorite mythology, the Nephilim, right? So I'm always, and Andre the Giant is what got me into this business, standing next to my dad. So I have a very soft spot for freak show giants like that, and especially a guy like him who can move and doesn't seem awkward, so a mouthpiece is the perfect thing for him. He can have like one tagline and get over, but almost I think there's tons of money written on him. It's just you gotta set him up for success in the right way. And that's a Royal Rumble appearance where he chucks guys over, and then it takes 5 guys to eliminate him, and you got another big man, Braun Strowman. I think the money's there longer than what they did off of Saudi. And then as a rib after Braun Strowman's tweet about putting themselves over, which is the worst thing you can do in wrestling, be like, wasn't I fucking great? And then shit on the flippy flop guys. What happened out of that? The rib of putting him under and having Ricochet be the strong guy in their competition. And now they have something because they're put together in a mismatch. You're going to work together we think it's funny, instead of going, there's really more money on giant versus giant, isn't there?
Yeah.
So they'll sacrifice quality storylines for the rib. The rib might get over, but we left a lot of money on the table coming out of Saudi between Omos and Braun Strowman. So
do you feel like WWE's at this point's kind of given up on Baron Corbin? Because like you've kind of seen him given gimmick after gimmick after gimmick, and like he had a pretty good NXT run, and then he came up to the main roster and it's kind of just really flooded. They put him with JBL, which looked like it'd be a good pairing, and then like weeks later or a month later, they're nixing it.
So I kind of stooge us off on the Friday locker room this week. 2 WWE stars for our little podcast group, Hamin Media Group, and what we do and talking Russo wise. Russo and I were talking on the Raw review about Baron Corbin and how they've set this guy back by putting him with JBL when they did a great job taking him down with losing everything and he's in Skid Row. Those were some of the most entertaining pieces on the show, to see him as not a high stakes character, as a guy who ate Wagyu beef and now he's eating a bologna sandwich out of a dumpster. That's an awesome character run, and now he's down here and you want to see him go back up, but they just flip the switch and go, oh, he won at the casino one night, now he's Happy Corbin again and he's rich. No, dude, that's a 6-month rise back up of great TV that they just glossed over, bro. Gone. And then he did a good job getting Madcap Moss over with the dad jokes or whatever. He was really at his highest peak. And then all of a sudden they pumped the brakes and just put him with JBL. He didn't need that. He was made. We needed to elevate him to that upper level of a contender. Even though he might be losing, he's still going to get his heat. The crowd really hates him. They want to punch him in the face, like get over that you eat Wagyu beef and you're better than everybody else and all this stuff. But to saddle him with JBL and he's the modern wrestling god, all that is Vince McMahon bullshit, dude. That's how Vince is back. None of that with Triple H would be like, this is going to work. That's 100% Vince McMahon out of touch idiocy. And I'll tell you this, bro, like he didn't reach out in DM, but off that Russo clip, he liked it. And I'm not trying to mark out for he liked my tweet, but the fact that WWE guys are openly liking Russo Hamin work shows you that they are also frustrated with their lack of creative and the quality of it. And that somebody who has their best interest and the best interest of the TV show and the viewing audience and storytelling in mind is actually thinking about them, offering ideas that are obviously better than what they're giving to him to be pitched on the wall back there. And there was another WWE superstar that we cut a pretty positive clip about who we thought could level up his ability, reached out in DMs to say thank you. So again, that is great for my staff and myself to feel like, 100%. All right. And that's I tell you this, everyone sees everything. It's going to get to somebody's stooge report. So not only be careful what you clip, but I'm 45. I don't give no fucks, bro. Like allegedly we consulted for USA Network on Raw allegedly for 2 years. So they might tell me, no, I'm not going through the front gate of the WWE castle, bro, but I'll put myself in the goddamn fucking cannon and launch myself over the wall. There's nothing you're going to do to stop me, or I don't have to worry about any repercussions. And the guys inside that business who have to keep it tight-lipped are now liking our stuff, watching our stuff, knowing that our ideas are for them and not for the greater good of me. You know what I mean? And they appreciate that. And I try and keep the anonymity of who reaches out and who we might be helping on the side, because the guys who are getting paid to do it obviously are either yes men or getting cut off at the pass, or Vince takes their scripts and goes, I don't understand this shit, and throws it in the Shred-O-Matic 5000. So they're equally frustrated, but they got to make their money. And I understand that, but at least they know somebody's out there looking out for what could be and sees the potential in their ability. To me, the money on Baron Corbin is right now, he's a Golden Gloves boxer. And if you're a Hamin Media Group or Russo brand subscriber, you've heard me pitch this show. You got Bobby Lashley and fucking Brock Lesnar in a phony ass fucking wrestling match. The money is on a mega card shoot fight between the two.
100%, bro. Yes.
Yeah. So phony wrestling means nothing. So we're missing that. The undercard, you've got Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey. Could we not tell an easy best friends falling out story and have a real shoot fight between the two? The story's worked, but the fight's real. Next on the card under that, Matt Riddle versus CM Punk. You think that's not going to fucking draw?
Matt Riddle will fucking destroy CM Punk.
What does everybody want to see?
Riddle fucking destroy CM Punk.
And let's fucking book it. Then underneath that, you got Logan Paul. I don't care if you use Logan Paul or not. Get Jake Paul. He's bigger. What is Baron Corbin? Legit Golden Gloves boxer.
100% good way to make him shine. But the whole thing is WWE won't do it, because remember the last time they did shoot fights was what? The fucking Brawl for All?
That's Brawl for All. I'm talking about go get Dana, hire Dana to come in, make it as legit as you possibly can, and forget about Brawl for All with wrestlers and boxing gloves trying to box. I'm talking about this is UFC, WWE crossover under WWE banner. And then if you want to rematch it, Dana will give you the rub, and Dana can go rematch Brock and fucking Lashley on his shit, and they can get paid twice. But
And that would
nobody's
be
thinking of this, bro. And if they are, nobody's willing to put their ego aside. But when I put it out there and you see Baron Corbin go, like that, brother, that's where my mind is, where Russo's mind is, where Stevie Richards' mind is, and where these guys can't step up and go, come here, look at what these fucking guys said, because that will instantly get them put on the fucking shelf. But they know somebody actually gives a fuck about this sport and cares about their rise, as opposed to, I'm a wrestling god. Okay, well then turn me into a pillar of salt, wrestling god. Show me some miracle of loaves and fishes. See, you're not a god. So why call somebody that, bro? He's not at the top. Roman Reigns is saying he's in God mode. This dude's saying he's God and getting beat by Madcap, bro. That's not. These are just stupid little things to put on a t-shirt that are going to end up on WWE shop clearance for $7.99 in another 2 months, man.
100%, man. And like I watched the Royal Rumble, this year, and I sat down. I sat down. I watched the men's Rumble match, and I fucking had to stop it about 3 or 4 times and walk out and go, "Fuck!" Did I just what the fuck? Like, and it's like, and I was telling someone about this. They go, "Why? It wasn't that bad." And I said, "Okay, what's the whole premise of a fucking battle royal or a Royal Rumble? To not get thrown out of the top rope, right? How many fucking wrestlers were going to the top rope? It's like
spots, bro. Now it's become a spot fest. Get your shit in. Really, in a Royal Rumble, for any rookies out there in Australia or America, wherever you are, listen globally. Here's to the Piers Austin Network. In a Royal Rumble Battle Royal, you should not be leaving your feet, because there's way too many guys in the ring and you could get stepped on, your Achilles, anything along those lines while you're trying to get your shit in. And like you said, we're in a Royal Rumble. Any match that we're working, what is the gimmick of the match? A tag match, I better show tag a couple times. I better cheat tag so the heels get heat. This, you're putting the guy over the top rope. They're going to want to stay grounded and keep their feet on the ground, and we're struggling the whole time. Instead, no, I got to get my shit in on a 450 and all that shit. Whereas if you climb the top rope, fucking someone should give you one chop and you fucking fall off, because you're a moron that you don't know how to work the fucking match the proper way, dude. And it becomes, well, this is for TV and they want the fuck what they want, dude. You just made this match that's special not special anymore. You killed the gimmick of the match instead of working the gimmick of the match, but you think you're over because you got your shit in and it's a little memorable spot, instead of really showing that it takes all 12 guys to get almost over the top rope. You know what I mean?
And that fucking spot between Logan Paul and Ricochet, that was a point when I saw that I literally turned it off and had to walk away for about 20 minutes, because I'm just like, that is like, in a real fight, are you going to throw yourself at someone knowing you were going to fuck yourself up? No, you're not going to do that.
No.
And like, the thing is that, like, it served no purpose for either guy. It made no sense psychology.
It shows that Logan Paul can do a wrestle spot, and Ricochet, he flies. So we do a fucking flying double clothesline double down, so both guys can be down in the middle of the ring. Somebody should have grabbed, picked them up like suitcases and hucked one over the fucking top and hucked the other one over, bro. Like, the fact that they're just doing these things for highlight reel clips, I get it. I understand why they're doing that, but that spot is for a tag match. A double down is in a tag match. A double down can be in a singles, but it's usually to go into a hot tag. That would have been an awesome double down if it was Ricochet and Braun versus Logan and fucking Jake Paul, right? Yeah. And then they're there to go to the hot tag. Instead, we're just doing fucking Cirque du Soleil bullshit that kills the fucking gimmick of the match and what we're doing, because we got to get our stuff in, bro. So
100%, bro. And like, you even saw like you see like the spot where Kofi came, because usually he does the fucking spotty gimmick in the Battle Royal, right?
Him in the John Morrison spot, right? And it gets botched and he's just out, like,
bro. But like, did you see his landing?
Yeah.
That like, I honestly thought, I was like, dude, I thought he broke his neck.
Yeah, very well. Well, scary. You never been in wrestling practice and get bumped off the ring and try and land on a fucking announcer's chair? You guys don't practice that spot in practice?
I don't do that practice. I don't take bumps, brother. I don't take bumps.
Yeah, you psychopath. That's like the ridiculousness of it. Like nobody trains that. There is no, all right, guys, today we're gonna practice Royal Rumble, get bipped off the ring and land on a fucking chair that has wheels on it, and then you jump back in the ring. No, these are all video games, stupid fucking things that because we established them a long time ago and they got a little pop, now they're just in the Rumble. We need that spot. No, we don't. We don't need it. We need the struggle for dominance of getting somebody over the top rope, someone staying alive with fucking the Shawn Michaels skin the cat. You know what I mean? All those fucking double clothesline finishes where you hate your enemy so much, but you're both in there that your hate overcomes you and you don't care about winning the match. You just care about getting the other guy out, even if you got to sacrifice yourself. These are the stories that get told in the Rumble. But if we're doing spots, none of those stories get told, bro. And those are the more interesting ones. What heat is there between Ricochet and Logan Paul?
None.
Then what does that mean? What did that spot mean aside from an ooh ah? And now it's forgotten.
But you know what? It's more clickbait shit, right? And I get the why indie promotions would do the clickbait shit and do that sort of stuff to get a bit of a buzz, to get a bit of attention on social media. But WWE, when you're working for the biggest stage in the world, you don't need to do that shit.
No, well, let's look at Pat McAfee, another star trained by Rip Rogers, and then everything he's had between Adam Cole and The Miz, all that has heat behind it and has meaning. So a move means something. This is just, hey, I'm acrobatic and I can do this shit. And can the fucking YouTube guy do it? He can. Yay! Like that's all there is to that, bro. There's no depth. There's no emotion tied to it. There's no long-term storyline to pay it off. Nothing. So,
but it's amazing. Like I remember seeing some fans, and I always go to the comment section on Facebook and Twitter on wrestling posts just to see what they're fucking saying, just to get a laugh. And like these guys going, oh, you know, Logan Paul getting signed. Why would they sign Logan Paul? Think about these young wrestlers that are struggling. Okay, think about it. He's the host of the hottest podcast in the fucking world next to Joe Rogan. He's got a fucking social media following of 100 fucking million combined.
Sure.
Yeah, he's coming to the table with something else, like the whole wrestling thing. Yeah, he's an athletic guy. They can teach that.
How did he get that following? That's interesting to me. Is that following legit? Did the CIA go, this is going to be the fucking guys? And, you know, when it comes to Arab money, we gave, well, now Saudis bought the Live Golf Tournament, possibly buying WWE. But the reality is we sold them $168 billion in weapons. So the Logan Paul and all that to me is all a front load CIA op of the PR campaign of who they want to put in there and make global stars, bro. Like that's the deep conspiracy cut, but follow the money and you'll find out otherwise.
Blonde hair, blue eye, white boys, bro. Let's get them out there and start promoting the shit out of them. But you know,
it won't be me anytime soon.
100%, bro. But you know what? Like you touched on this earlier, and you said it. You know, like the whole USA network with you, Vince, and Stevie. Like, how did that whole sort of like thing come to be with you guys working with the USA network?
So when Fox bought SmackDown, and we were doing the SmackDown review, we'd watched it go from a 3.6 to a 3.1 rating, and they were just mailing in shows. This is pre-COVID, and they were just wash, rinse, repeat, the same mailed in, tired yes man bullshit. So I said, hey, man, like we should talk to somebody about being consultants. So I'm very good at internet sleuthing and finding hard emails to find and who's the guy in the position of power that can approve those things. And I also know how to pick my targets when they're probably weak and they're in need of a lifeline. You know, I feel the stars align. I do that. So I found Jacob Allman's contact information, had Vince. We all wrote the email, but you know, we rely on Vince's name because it has a bit more credibility, obviously, throughout the years than Young Ryder or myself. But we're like Voltron, and Vince just happens to be the head, right? Yeah. And so we have a meeting with them, and they were very we hear what you're saying, as we told them they bought a bad bill of goods and that went from 3.6 to 3.1. They're like, yeah, we're looking for positive solutions. And then there'd be dead silence. You're like, okay. And they're like, well, what do you suggest? And like, well, we'd like to be consultants. Like, okay, could you write us a proposal? They couldn't ask us, but they wanted us to write it. So I write this proposal and it gets sent and it's sitting on his desk. And then instead of hiring us, and this guy's a big wrestling fan, I think they hired Bischoff first.
Yeah.
So Bischoff does 6 months and becomes the scapegoat, moves to fucking Connecticut only to move back to his ranch, right? After they get chopped there. Then they put in Hamin. Hamin becomes the scapegoat. Then they put in Bruce. Bruce becomes the scapegoat, right? And in that time period where he's having fun getting to deal with those guys instead of taking what could have been our notes and having real, an outside opinion, he's getting worked by the top WWE yes men. What happens at that time? The rating goes from 3.1 to a 1.8, but none of them want to admit that they were wrong and that they got worked, right? Now 100%. We're back up to about a 2.4. So from our original, and they're going, we're up from a 1.8 to a 2.4, everybody. Aren't we fucking great? And their original was 3.6. So now you've lost 33% of your audience and you're congratulating yourself for being masters of the fucking universe. Wrong. Ding dong. Hello. So the fact that they didn't want us, took that same fucking method, searched out Chris McCumber, USA Network president. It was funny. I had seen a thing in Variety magazine about him going back to his alma mater. And I looked up the college gimmick and it showed his fraternity. I looked up the fraternity. The fraternity had an entire Excel list of former people who were in the frat. And lo and behold, after I download it and look through it, there's Chris McCumber's email address. Give it to Vince. We run it back again. Right away, Chris McCumber is very interested and far less of a fanboy than they are over at Fox. He wants real fucking results. He knows Vince's name because he hired Ed Ferrara back in the day before he was a network president. So he was familiar with Vince and that. So the door was open and Ferrara didn't even have to say anything, I don't think, for us, but like, who knows, maybe McCumber reached out, but we were pretty much right in the door. And what McCumber needed was a priest in confession to smarten him up, because these guys are master workers feeding him excuses 100%. And he believes that they're real. And but then the numbers don't back it up. They're going down. And the things that they would tell him, Chris would come tell that to us. And then be like, no, bro, they are working you there. And here's what they're going to say to you next. And then he'd go back to the meeting the next week and they'd say it verbatim to him. And he'd go, holy shit, you guys are right. But he didn't know we pitched Stevie and I as the triumvirate, but he just kind of wanted to work with Vince. So we were the silent partners and Russo brand. So, but I'd come home, do the whole Raw layout format, send it to Vince and Stevie. Vince will write his notes in the beginning, and at the end we'd punch up every segment, offer new creative ideas, and send them an 8 to 12 page report every week. And it was great. Then NBC realigned. He saw that coming, jumped over to Bloom, the guy who makes horror films there, and became an exec there. They realigned, and we got kind of put with a nice guy, but a middleman who doesn't have the stroke of a USA president, right? So all we were doing there was kind of running out our contract, because this guy would try and hand off ideas, but he didn't have no fucking chops to go up against Paul Heyman or Bruce or anything like that, man. So a very rewarding experience for me to be able to end around all the bullshit of the yes men, get the deal for all of us based on Vince's name and all of our creative, and then have my notes go directly to Vince McMahon, and then they would take that and get 20% value out of the great ideas that we pitched to them, whether it was Retribution, Raw Underground, all those things are right out of Russo brand HMG Creative. There's a bunch more, and you can listen to them by signing up for patreon.com/Hamin Media Group for the Alleged Consultants podcast, which I have to do another one here tomorrow to get out. So
the master of the fucking plug, this guy, look at him go. But you know what, like
the full story of how all that came to fucking fruition, bro.
But you know what, like I felt like when you said like the Raw Underground stuff, I remember seeing that and I thought, man, like straight away, this is a rip-off of like, because I remember like Josh Barnett was doing that thing with Game Changer, the Bloodsport thing.
Yeah, sure.
And I was like, this is going to be a complete rip-off from that. Like,
originally it was supposed to be like Shane McMahon has had enough, and like the guys who are disgruntled are doing a Fight Club type thing, and then it was a little shotgun Saturday night. I don't think originally it was like the Josh Barnett thing. It actually, that goes back to the idea I laid out earlier about the shoot fight mega pay-per-view and under WWE banner. This goes back to us going, dude, they've got all these fucking guys with legit backgrounds. At that time, there was a guy in NXT too, who was like a 6th degree Brazilian jiu-jitsu motherfucker.
Yeah.
And I'm going,
plus, Tim Thatcher as well, I think.
Tim Thatcher, yeah. I remember naming all these guys in those notes, and we'll go through them again. But that was the opportunity to have something grimy that was different. And here's the other part of that story too. Before we even reached out to USA to be like, to undermine them, we're like, well, let's go through the office and give them every chance. Vince writes to Shane. Shane writes back to Vince right away. Dude, we absolutely need you right now. The shit's stale, and you could be the exact solution we're looking for. He goes, write my dad an email, send it to me first, so I'll edit it in case there's anything that might be red flag around here, right? Vince writes the email, sends it to Shane. Shane takes out like one line. It wasn't even anything innocuous. Sends it to fucking Vince of like, we're here to help. What do we get back? THX period, which has become the running joke thing from Vince, what have you, right? And we're like, okay, that's how they want to fucking, like, he's not even listening to his own son. That shows you how fucked up this whole thing is right now, right? That's when we went to them. And then after all of it was done, we're like, well, let's try again. And we reach out to Vince after all that, which I'm sure by that time he had known we were, consulting. I think it was Stooge. That he's like, well, what if you say, well, I'll have you watch for the next couple of weeks and you send me your notes. And he's like, and Vince writes back, he's like, well, I'm not going to do it for free. You know what I mean? Like,
100%, bro.
Yeah, this is the guy that helped make your company. And then McMahon writes back, you think pretty highly of yourself, don't you, pal? And like, I remember hearing like, all right, you fucking delusional old bastard. It makes me laugh, bro. But I really want to, I've been wanting not just to mark out, but I want all three of us to get a THX period tattoo somewhere on our body, something small. It's just that fucking makes me laugh so hard, bro. Like, okay, this is where we're at with these dudes. Instead of going, you took our ideas, you didn't know it, and you only got 20% value. Whereas if you would drop your goddamn ego, hire this crew who aren't going to be yes men and give you ideas that you can take to your creative and look like a genius if you wanted to, and kayfabe them all, you think pretty highly of yourself. No, you do. Because you think you can get your cock sucked for $20 million, and that's not going to have some type of fucking effect out on your stock price and every other goddamn thing while you're married to your wife that you haven't probably even been in the same house with for 12 years. Like all this 100%. Shit of like, I think highly of myself.
That motherfucker paid more money for sex than he did for WCW and ECW combined. Like, yeah, man, we're really gonna fucking be saying who thinks highly of themselves. But like, but it's interesting, man, because it's like I think it comes down to as well, like the wrestling mindset. Even if there's like the owner of the company is ultimately always gonna want to be the booker, always want to be the one that oversees that shit. Even if they're not the educated one to be fucking putting shit in place, it's always been the case. And that's something I've seen where it's like, I've had promotions go, hey man, we want you to help with booking this and that. And I'm like, all right, cool. I give them stuff and they're like, oh no, that doesn't work because like politically we're going to go down this road and I want to keep the belt on my brother. And I'm like,
that's the thing. And then I'd be like, well, do you want to be a mark for yourself or do you want to draw tickets and do good business? And 90% of the time at the lowest indie level, all the way to the top. It's I'm going to be a
Yeah.
mark for myself and not draw tickets by doing the right fucking storylines, bro.
But you know what? I get asked for my thoughts and opinions and stuff like that, and to give suggestions, I do. And then, a promoter will go, "No, I don't like it," and I just go, "Okay, then."
Yeah, that's all
And
you
then,
can do, bro. You can lead the horse
but
to water. You can't make them drink.
But
I
the
can
same
give
promoter
Vince
said to
all the-
me,
Go ahead.
the same
Sorry.
promoter said to me, bro, he was like, "Why don't you fight for what you're pushing for?" I said, "Because, bro, I'm not financially invested here, bro. You're the one, you're the money guy, bro. I'm just the fucking dude that turns up
Exactly.
to watch your
That's a
show,
nice
bro."
fucking spot to be in. Like, you asked for my help, I give it to you, you shoot it down because of your own shit, and then you're like, well, why aren't you fighting for it? It's phony wrestling. I gave you a fucking winning idea. I'm not here to go, now I'm going to dig in for my idea because I want to fucking get in some wrestling. No, bro. I help book Immortal. Mike takes my ideas. Usually the guys execute them pretty goddamn good with no pushback. If he's got something that he wants to do, go as do as thou wilt, man. You know,
100%.
and even with the consulting shit, all I can do is give you gold. If you're gonna go and wipe your ass with it like it's toilet paper, that's what you're gonna do with it, pal. Like all I can do is give you these things, and then a lot of times they'll get to it 2-3 years later, and like I say, it's a watered down, bastardized version. But that's true of everything that you see on TV. A screenwriter might write a brilliant movie, but by the time Pepsi, Doritos, and the fucking hot studio property of the week has got to be in the movie as opposed to the person that would really kill it. And then these scenes that were essential hit the cutting room floor. Now what you're looking at is a far different version that was greenlit from inception. And what makes it to the fucking masses are usually far different products from the way they start, where they were pure and the right idea, to a 60% commercial piece of shit. And usually WWE delivers a 20% commercial piece of shit of what they leave so much on the table, money wise, character id wise, psychology wise, storyline wise. And then when they do get it right in a Sami Zayn Uso and they see the method, they'll just use it there. They won't apply it to the rest of their show. Like now we're doing a tale of two shows. I'm watching Teletubbies and the fucking Sopranos on the goddamn exact same show. That's asinine, bro. Like you can have low stakes characters that are comedy characters, but you got to play them to the height of their intelligence and make those worlds as real as the high level Uso worlds.
And that's the thing I always find with WWE's booking is that like they can only really focus on like a couple of talents at the time, and everyone else just sort of like lives in purgatory in catering. And it's like, oh yeah, you might have a match, but it's gonna mean absolutely nothing. It's gonna make no sense. It just go out there and you've got 6 minutes. Oh, actually, now you've only got 3, so just go out there and do it.
And that's why those guys are watching these little YouTube or these little Twitter clips that we put out there to get subscribers. And the guys on the roster are liking them, reaching out and DMing, bro. That you're 100% right of that. They focus on one little thing, and I don't know how, because you've got an army of fucking producers. However, some of those producers don't know shit about character, haven't fucking ever gotten over in a big storyline, don't know how to do long-term business, don't know how to truly book a champion, aside from what they've been told by other guys that were producers before them. No disrespect to like these guys that have been there for a minute and like have held a job, but no, I'm not going to name names because it'd be easy for me just to throw somewhere in the bus, but I don't know them. You know what I mean? And they could
sure.
I don't want to be guilty of that. But if they've never done it and they just have a job, then what do they know about really getting somebody over? They never got themselves over or got heat in a real way. They just came out of the NXT factory, fucking got hurt, and now they got a producer job. Well, that doesn't make the best scene work, lads. All right. You got to fucking really have somebody who knows how to teach character, bring character out of somebody, heighten, explore, add stakes to a scene, know where the moment of heat is to really focus on it. And I'm not seeing any of that in most of these things, bro. From the reinvention of a Liv Morgan and a Nikki Cross and an Asuka. And there's so much that they've just brushed by and that could have been true character in telling those stories. Like I said, the Baron Corbin hitting rock bottom, I was so pumped for that. There was so many weeks of bits, and we just went right by him, bro.
But I feel like that's kind of how wrestling's done. It's like even when we saw like, like turning back and look at AEW when like MJF did his return, he came back and he had the mask on right and he got the fucking coin gimmick and he came back down and he did the fucking mannerisms and all that shit.
Stupid.
Cool, bro. And then like on the same show, he unmasks and unveils it's MJF. And it's like, why wouldn't you play this off? Have him come out the next night on fucking Dynamite Dark or fucking whatever the fuck it is. Yep. And like with the mask on doing Adam Hangman Page's fucking, mannerisms and shit and play this off for like 6 weeks and then, have the person cash in, win the title, the mask comes off, it's MJF. And it's like,
so much meat on the bone, bro, and they just throw it in the trash. And also, that's a guy who's a kindergartner surrounded by yes men, not MJF, Tony Khan, who doesn't know anything really about booking. And he's surrounded himself with guys who absolutely do, but they are being yes men and are there to collect the check. Maybe a couple of them try to step up and help him and big brother him. And then they get marginalized because he doesn't want to hear that. He thinks he already knows it because there's enough guys there blowing sunshine up his ass to keep them fucking pockets getting picked, that you're going to make wrong decision after wrong decision or short-sighted one when you're not getting max value out of the guys and the storylines that you're inventing and paying for. And the audience wants to be taken on a journey. So you're starting to take them on it. And then you end the book, chapter 1. Once upon a time, the princess was saved. The end. Okay, good stuff for everybody there. No journey, no dragons, no peril, no fucking going to Mordor to get the goddamn ring. None of that, bro. We just fucking start it and end it. And a lot of his segments were like that. Heels will get heat, and here comes the run-in. Like, what the fuck, bro? Let me get my heat and let it sit and let somebody sell an injury. Hey, they fucking killed him last week, but he's right here back this week with another match, so they didn't kill him too bad.
100%, and that's exactly right. Like I feel like but you even see it like selling in matches these days, like from even like the highest level down to the indie level, bro. Like you see like certain things. It's like like with you get hit by a ladder. Okay, you got hit by a ladder. 2 seconds later, you pop back up. It's like, bro, if I got hit in the face with a fucking ladder, I'm gonna take like at least a couple minutes to fucking get my shit together before I'm gonna try and stand up.
Or just be knocked out and your tag team partner loses because you got hit in the head with a ladder and you're fucking knocked out.
100%.
Anything can be a finish. All it takes is selling it, bro. If you the move is meaningless. If a headbutt is a finish, especially from a Samoan or Congo Kong, just 100%. Sell it and be knocked out, bro. Anything can be, but we got to get our shit and we got to get kicked out on 2. Oh, my shocked face. Why? Because Vince liked that 12 years ago. Now that's the standard. Just because some demented old man liked it doesn't mean that it's right. And that's how things should be going through. If somebody on my heel kicks out of my shit, I should be up on one knee right away, grabbing their head and fucking feeding them, not going, oh, they kicked out. Like, you motherfucker, you kicked out. Pow, 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 pow. That's how a heel should react, not, oh my word. Uh-oh.
it's kind of like, remember like Austin versus Rock, and Austin gets the chair and just stands there and beats the fuck out of the Rock with the chair over and over again. Because it's like, in that situation, like, who wouldn't fucking, you know what I mean? Like in a real fight, like, okay, this is legal. I'm going to beat the fuck out of this guy so he won't get back up.
Right. So there's plenty of these bad acting tropes that are the standard in wrestling now, and it doesn't make them right, bro. And the fact that you have agents who came from the NXT system and learned the wrong way of those tropes because it makes the boss happy, now they're ingrained like it's the right thing to do. It's not the right thing to do, and the guys teaching it or agenting it don't know that. And that's a WWE level.
But you know what? It's funny. It's like when Vince McMahon was booted out and they're going, oh, Vince McMahon, like, he's no longer involved in creative. It's now Triple H doing all. Come on, bro. Do you think fucking he wasn't getting a phone call from fucking, from his father-in-law going, hey?
Oh, dude, no. Now there's an inner stooge core of Bruce, Triple H, Vince, and Nick Khan. There's the outer stooge core of the producers that surround them with the writers that get to be told. So now Triple H has to make it look like Vince isn't involved, but the whole time he is. And it's as simple as this. MVP this week backstage, cut the MVP in the promo. Brock Lesnar, you're a coward. We're done here. We're done. Vince is right back there. No way is any writer worth his salt writing that, or Triple H to go, when you hear he's a coward. I don't know what John Wayne 1958 movie is ingrained in Vince's DNA where that's like the biggest insult of all or whatever it is. But when you hear those words, you fucking bet your tits Vince McMahon wrote that fucking stupid ass line, bro. That's things like that. They're the absolute giveaway.
Yeah, you know what? Like some of the stuff that Vince has come out with has been like some of the shit. Like he even wanted Moxley to fucking say like Jiminy Crickets or some shit.
Baron Corbin's a wrestling god. You can hear it. You can that's Vince McMahon. No way Triple H is gonna go. The best thing for Baron Corbin is to put him with JBL. No, bro. It's 100% a stooge core inside the creative team on the inside of another creative team. But they couldn't have that because it can't leak out that Vince is still in control. No, Vince is not in control. It's just us. Anytime they tell you no, believe the exact opposite. Stephanie McMahon. No, all the upper echelon is going to be the same. Creative is going to operate the same. 2 days later, so long, Steph. Triple H at OVW. OVW will always be developmental territory for WWE. You've created so many stars here. There's no way we can break ties. 6 weeks later, so long, OVW. So whatever they fucking say is a hard line, believe the exact inverse, reciprocal, 180-degree opposite of it, bro.
But you know what? It's funny, bro, because it's like, one thing, like I've the way I look at wrestling now being involved for the time I have is like every conversation I have with someone involved in wrestling, it's like I sit there and I'm like the whole time the conversation's going, I'm going, are you trying to work me, you fuck?
Absolutely. I told this to my students last night at UWE, Upstate Wrestling Experience. And they're just trying to learn wrist locks and fucking the international drill and high spot and all that. But I told them like what you got to learn in the ring is one thing, bro. To even get into the ring is another fucking thing altogether, because you coming into a territory and getting booked means somebody else is on their way out. And that's somebody's buddy. That's somebody's brother. And now they want to test you so you can fuck up a test backstage and put heat on you to get you out of there. I repeat after me, everything is a test. Everything is a test. And I go, and what do you do when you get tested or someone's ribbing you? They're like, I don't know, turn up your character. No, I go, repeat after me. No sell. No sell. No sell. What does no sell mean? Mean you can either go, good rib when you see it, or you can just not put shit over at all. And they're mad because they're trying to trap you and they're not getting under your skin because you've got tough enough skin. There's a lot of mental midgets in this carny queers and addicts circus who don't have thick skin, who get their heartstrings plucked. And once they do that, ooh, here come the knife and fork, and we're going to fucking slice them up, bro. We are going to eat. We're all going to eat, and we love carving people, our who we claim are our brothers up and tormenting them mentally, because that's what we do in this fucking business to protect spots. So that fucking of like, are you working me? Yeah, everything's a test. Everybody's working everybody, and you should be a bastard too and do the same thing, because that's what this mafia is all about, bro, at the end of the day. But all that happens before you ever get to go to the ring to throw your body to the ground in phony violence for fans. You got to do all this shit backstage where you're shaking hands and you're having a good show and good brothers, but this person's got heat on him. Well, let's fucking fuck with him a little bit, or we'll turn it up this way, or who's the heater tonight? And the boys are on the lookout for it, bro. That's the weirdo lifestyle that we're all a part of and we live. So if you ever question that, the answer is absolutely yes. They are trying to work you. Everything's a test. And what do? No sell. If you can get that down, you're fine. Dude, you want to talk about it? Last Friday, SmackDown, Montreal. Who did they bring in and put in the crowd?
Sami Zayn's wife.
No, the night before, Ariel Helwani.
That's right.
And then Tony Khan does what? Goes right to Twitter and fucking buries him and buries Tony Schiavone. What should Tony Khan have done?
No sold that shit.
No sold the motherfucker, bro. The whole thing. And this is a guy who's at the top Booker of the Year, and he doesn't know how to no sell. Okay.
But was that
shows everything, bro? Him selling for that shows that Meltzer is a complete fraud, putting in his Booker of the Year, because any Booker worth his salt would never sell for your opponent's product if he was a smart guy. The next week, what should Tony Khan have done on Wednesday night?
Turn around and buried Ariel then.
Yes, but how? He should not mention his name. He should not fucking bury him on his shit.
Some certain journalist from the MMA world who trying to get in the wrestling business, you know what I mean, wants to turn around and play both sides of the fence. Well, here we go. This is AEW, bitch. Fuck you.
That's not bad. Oh, that's an ECW strategy. Here's what the old school strategy would have been: Attitude Era. We've got a new correspondent out here in the audience tonight, Burial Jalwani, or whatever the fuck what it is, right? And it's me in Taliban fucking form. Yeah. And he's out. You do a spoof character on him, and the guy gets killed every fucking week, bro. Something bad happens to him. He gets hit in the balls. He fucking makes an asshole of himself, whatever it is. And you bury him. The most powerful weapon in all of media is satire. Not 100%. Going right back at them. If they're trying to do that, sell it, but that's a Cold War shot fired at you, and then you fire another Cold War shot back at them, because then they're like, oh, he's playing the game. Are they going to come back across and give you fodder because they tried to fuck with you, but you stuck it in their ass with the fucking new character? But he didn't. He sold like a fucking mark with 35 followers and an egg fucking on his Twitter, bro. And he's got sea of guys around him who should have taken his phone and smashed it into fucking oblivion into the ground. But cocaine's a hell of a drug. And
but bro, I love Tony. You know what, man? Every time I see Tony Khan, and I actually said this like somewhere, I was like, the one guy I want to go and party with is Tony Khan. And people going, why would you want to party with a fucking mark like that? Easy, bro. He's got a shitload of cash, a shitload of coke, and it's going to be a shitload of yeah, bro, I'll go talk wrestling with him for fucking 24 hours on hot coke, fucking drink it. Let's do it. But like,
you do that. Oh shit.
Oh, that's fucking beautiful.
Whoops. Sorry, I'm
Tony need hug. Tony need hug.
Yeah, welcome. Bring it. Right. Easy on the suit. Be careful on the suit. All right. Yeah.
God damn it, that's fucking funny. But yeah, you're going for hugs and shit on all these people.
Yeah. Tony needs
with Samoa Joe, and Samoa Joe's just like, yeah, peace, bitch.
Hey, bro. So somebody should punch him in his face. Get that shit out of here. I'm here to fuck people up in the ring, not be your little bitch boy fucking next thing that you're going to put on your shelf like a toy. I'm a pro wrestler. Who's going to step up and do that? They don't. They all go, all right, buddy. Yeah. No. Who's knock Tony Khan out in a fucking scrum?
Carter and Joe were pretty fucking good, though.
Yeah, but still, the fact that he's how tone deaf that looks in a scrum that's all about his own self-servingness, no sell. He should have mystique. He should be the brainchild that is rarely seen, that fucking is only referenced by the boys in the ring. Instead, he's got to come out, hype up the crowd, jump up and down like a 7-year-old waiting at fucking Disney World and shit, bro. Like exposing him as a man-child who's nothing more than a spoiled kid who doesn't know about this business really at all. As much as he loves it, he's still at a kindergarten level when it comes to booking, bro, and not using the people around him who have master's degrees.
It's because he's a mark as well, because he wants to go out and he wants to have that spotlight and he wants to have that moment of like being in front of a live crowd and having that love and adulation.
Where's Jericho to tell him, bro, you're hurting us all by doing that?
Yeah,
you know you're doing that. When every time you do that, we all look like fucking Mark fanboy jokes because of what you did and went out and did that. And if you do it again, I'm quitting. Like, bro, that's the conversation that needs to happen to get him to put that cocksucking phone down.
But you know what? Like, I feel like even like anytime I've tried to watch that product I last about 5 minutes because I feel like I'm just going, this shit is insulting my intelligence on a certain level. Like I just can't watch it. And it was like the fucking gimmick where they had the explosion fucking ring and they had fucking Kingston and Moxley, who were probably, you know, a couple of the like baddest motherfuckers in the history of the wrestling business in the last 20 years, look like complete clowns. And I spoke with, you know, someone that was close with Eddie Kingston who was there that night, and he said he came back and Eddie Kingston was like fucking throwing chairs. He was like going, "You motherfuckers, you fucking up, you know, what the fuck was that?" And they were like, everyone, like all the fucking woke snowflakes in the back were all going, "Oh, I think they need to send him home." Like,
yeah, there's a couple things with that, right? Like, so Murphy's Law, what can go wrong at the fucking most biggest moment will. I was just in Crossfire making my big return back over in Canada in December after all the vax shit drops. And they're like, oh, he's going to be in this match. The manager, Alexander the Great, older guy, he dresses all in pink, a lot of heat, right? Like, I'm injured, but I've got a replacement. And he points and hit his music. No music. Music's fucked up. It's my big moment to come out. Rise and praise, everybody up. No music apparently. So like shit will go wrong. So maybe they had pyro that didn't go off. Here's my point. And I've worked shows with Eddie Kingston, phenomenal promo. What should Eddie Kingston have done when he went back through the curtain?
Probably gone up and
Two words. You've said them already. I said, repeat that. No sell. You got a problem with somebody and who fucked up and you want the pyro guy's fucking head on a platter, going back and throwing chairs and making a spectacle is not the way to fucking do it. Going back and you don't want to have a boo-boo face like, oh, that's a bad thing to do in the locker room too. Stay there, shake his hand and be like, we need to go talk. And grab Tony. I don't care if you got to grab Tony by the fucking collar and pull him and be like, whoever did that just set us back and ruined it. I want them fucking fired right now. And then you put the heat on the boss to go fucking fire them, to go back there and sell. And then all these little fucking shitbirds who don't have any reason even to be backstage aside from tech, who now can go, he should be gone. It's a dangerous work environment. You don't know how dangerous it is that I don't fucking smash your face into the concrete because I just worked 20 years to get to this point and you fucked me. I'm never going to go up and say that to him unless then Tony goes out from our meeting and go, Timmy, can you come in here? We need to talk to you. Then the fucking promo's on, not in front of the fucking boys, bro. So these big egos, emotional performers still don't get it, even at the highest level. I watched a guy on our show come back. His match was next to meaningless. He's an indie goof who was a backyarder who now worked his way onto these shows. He fucked up one little thing in his comeback. He comes through the curtain. Fuck, motherfuck. I fucking fucked that up. Like, all you want is more attention on yourself. And you don't know, like, you're selling for a fucking phony wrestling match. The crowd doesn't know you fucked up. They don't know that. But now you just want to be like, look at me. I'm a prima donna. I've got so much. Like, shut the fuck up.
I've got passion, bro.
Yeah, shut the fuck. You're a mark for yourself, and you'll never go anywhere in this business with that kind of shit. And the fact that you don't know that it just means you're going to be a local fucking goof your whole life, bro. So that you'll see it. And when I see that, and I see that kid, I could easily gone up to him and go, bro, you can't act like that in the locker room here and school him. But I don't. I know someone go, you fucking goof. I'm not wasting a moment more of my breath on you. You want to learn that lesson? Come to UWE and I'll teach it to you in class and you can pay me $160 a month.
But someone like that, bro, is going to sit there and he's going to go, yeah, but
shut the fuck up and listen to what I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you, all the guys in the locker room saw you come back and do that. And while you stormed off fucking thinking you were the passionate one, the 15-year vets that I've been working with since 2CW, we looked at each other and all we had to do was go,
dickhead.
It didn't even have to say a word, because in our locker room now, you're labeled a fuckface. And how many other places that you just got to start working at do you pull that shit? How many? And then he'll be like, no, none. I go, I don't fucking believe that, because all I've seen is you act like a dumb bastard who fucking thinks he's over when you haven't paid more than a due in this fucking business. And the only reason you should be here is to break down the ring. You're fucking lucky to be on this show with such great talent. And that's how you're going to fucking act. If I see that again, I'm going to blackball you from every fucking indie from here to Buffalo. And if you don't get it after that, watch me flip heel on them. But I don't do that shit in front of the tech guys.
No.
See what I'm saying? There's and you're right. A guy that I can already imagine that conversation. That's why I'm hot, where he's like, no, I don't know. Shut the fuck up. That's what it is. And here's the biggest lesson. One of the biggest lessons I've learned, I taught last night. Learn it from Joey Mercury, Eminem. He knows a little thing about wrestling. Never miss a chance to shut the fuck up. Verbatim.
100%, bro. And it's interesting because like I remember I was at a show and like Robbie Zuko, who comes and hosts a couple of like some episodes with me from time to time with some guests, 20 plus year veteran who's been over to the States, wrestled, Moxley, and all those guys in HWA back in the early 2000s. And it's like, I've seen this guy sit there and like try and help like a kid and say, hey man, look, when you're doing this, this is thing, or your character's like this and blah, 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 blah. And this kid just sitting there going, yeah, but, and I can see his like Rob's face is going, okay, but mate, well, I'm trying to help you. And then it's like, until the point where I turned around and I just went, shut the fuck up. Do you understand? This is a 25-year veteran who is like, people would pay good money to get this advice and you're getting it for free. So shut the fuck up. Listen to him. If you don't agree with it, just listen to him. Show fucking respect. Yeah. If you can't do that, get the fuck out.
You're on it 100%, bro. And you're going to see it over and over again. And you're going to get to the point in your career where you just see that shit. This is one of the most fulfilling moments I've had in backstage. Just a little mark out moment for me. I'm standing there watching a match. Two guys I respect, my two CW brothers. I won't bury them. But they're also spot wrestlers who get their shit in. They start the match in a great, beautiful way. They're going, I'm standing next to fucking Barry Darso, Demolition, fucking Repo Man, whatever, right? And we're peeking through the curtain watching, and fucking they're chaining, they're doing everything good, and they're telling a good story of the heat. I think it was on the shoulder and everything, and the guy's selling, and then all of a sudden they forget it all and they just start doing fucking Young Buck style spots. The guy's not selling his shoulder, nothing. That lasted about 30 seconds. Me and Barry Darso look at each other and just turned around and walked away, dude. Didn't need to say a fucking word, man. They get it. And then all of a sudden the self-serving indie bullshit takes over, and they're fucking Ricochet and they're Finn Balor and all this shit there. What we learned in wrestling class, how to tell a story and have the crowd into it. But now I get to do what I wanted. Nope. Tell the fucking story, serve the story. And then when you take them back there and go, why did you get your shit in? Well, I had to fucking, no, here's why. Because you're an asshole and you don't understand what working really is. But I did it. No, just shut the fuck up. And they don't know how to do that. And that's an entire generation of kids who were raised by, you get a trophy even though you didn't win the soccer game, and you get everything in helicopter parents, bro. And they're never wrong. They're never scolded. Everything is placated to them of, you fucked up, but good job. No, you fucked up. Don't ever do that again. And here's why. And I'm going to fucking Catholic school your ass and whack your ass with a fucking ruler. So the pain that you feel reinforces that, and you understand why you don't do that again.
But you know what I think as well? It comes down to certain guys just, being out there in the moment and becoming marks for themselves. And it's like, I was on a card where it's like, I'm standing there and it was like, this guy was wrestling these two 16-year-old kids. And it was like, they're taking fucking bumps on fucking Legos and shit. These kids, they couldn't even fucking bump right. And they're like 15 minutes in, hard chair shots to the head, like fucking all the hardcore shit. Majority of the audience is kids under 10, like 80%, right? So the promoter's standing next to me and he's going, is this too much, Pierce? Is this too much? I go, it was too much 15 minutes ago. He goes, the match has been going for 20 minutes. I go, yeah, bro, Those guys are fucking marks for themselves. They're not wrestling for their fucking audience. If I were you, I'd get fucking word to them to fucking bring this shit home.
And
right
how many
fucking
people
now.
in the crowd? How many people in the crowd?
150 maybe.
So you're taking unprotected headshots with chairs when, like, if there's kids in the crowd, like, that's one of the first things where I tell the boys in the meeting backstage, guys, it's all kids around ringside, gaga, no big bumps, 250, 300 people, like, get character over. They want to chant back and forth. You know what to do. And most of the guys do. Now, if we got a hardcore match, no chair shots. The whole thing can be based around, I like the Legos because it's little kids. They can relate, and everyone stepped on a Lego.
100%, bro. 100%.
So the whole story is that about not getting a backdrop onto Legos. The only hardcore spot should be one backdrop onto Legos and a retribution, maybe a skull crushing finale, face bump onto them, right? And then you pin the fucking guy and roll around on Legos, or maybe the ref fucking gets inadvertently bumped and he bumps on the Legos and everybody's fucking hurting. But all the extra shit of this is hardcore and it needs to be, they don't know how to read the audience of who's there. The fact that there's only 150 people and I don't really feel like risking a concussion or my neck tonight for a crowd that is barely going to break even. Nope, we got to get our shit in. We're the hardcore guys, and this is what we do. They need to be protected from themselves.
100%. And you know what? Like Kyle Ead in the house, and Kyle, that was a Yo Loco show, a very early Yo Loco show that they did. Not when the current promoter that's there now, but the ones well before. And it was just horrendous, bro. And it was like, it was nothing against the guys. I just, as Ben said, sometimes workers need to be saved from themselves. 100%. And I kind of felt in that situation, the bumps that those guys were taking weren't necessary. The fucking chair shots weren't necessary.
Let me tell you, not just to bury the fucking young guys. I'm in the 6-way with GGP and fucking Stevie versus the FBI.
Yeah,
fucking Nunzio, Little Guido, and Big Sal, right? So, dude, Little Guido has got a full back brace on, bro. The guy needs surgery. Like, he's been in and out of wheelchair. He's like, so you just pick me up and give me a backbreaker. I go, I'll give you a fucking backbreaker, bro. I go, I'm not going to be the guy after 25 years of you working that fucking paralyzes you based on all the shit that you did. I go, I will give you a bear hug, the lightest one ever. You get your elbows on my shoulders, and then when you need to come out of it, you fucking do it. I'm just going to stand there and hold you as light as I possibly can. It's like, oh, okay, because if we're going to work heat on the back, and this guy's fucked, why would I give him some impact thing? I have to protect, and that guy's a 15-year veteran longer than I am. So sometimes, even with veterans, not just some backyarder kids, you got to go, hold on a minute, bro. Like,
because they want their moment in the sun, bro. They want that moment of glory, you know, like it's
and it wasn't anything that was even a finish. All I needed was back heat, right? Because I'm going to camel clutch. So a bear hug, 10 times safer, 10 times less chance of him fucking really being hurt. But that's just the way it goes in this business. Some guys want to give so much to that crowd too that they don't understand that giving too much undoes what you're really trying to do and to make that moment, you know?
Oh, 100%, bro. It's you know, there's so many times, and I see it as well, bro, with friends and stuff. It's like, you know, when I see like friends of mine do certain bumps and spots, I'm like, bro, why are you doing that? Like, honestly, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're over as fuck. Like, you don't need to do that shit.
Yeah, keep it half short, twice strong, make it simple, get rid of all the excessive stuff. Every bump you take should have meaning, not just I took a bump and we got a bump feed, but a lot of times guys take these massive bumps and then 15 seconds later, they're climbing to the top rope and they're fine. No, bro. Put over the big move, sell it for 2-3 minutes in any way you can. Now you've trimmed out 2 sequences that were going to be meaningless anyway, and the one bump with the sell meant everything.
100%.
But yeah, Allah, man, I hate to run early. This has been a great one. We've gone by so fast. That's how you know it's always a great podcast talking to you. But I gotta do a perimeter check with the dogs of war here and feed them pretty soon, man.
All good, man. We are going to wrap up now because we are almost at the 2 hour mark. I think that's been the longest that you and I have actually done a podcast. So I think this is like the third one.
It went fast, brother. It's always great conversation with you, and when it feels like a half hour and it's 2 hours, it's fucking very entertaining and spot on for sure.
100%, man. But look, before we wrap it up, Ben, I've been ending every podcast, every conversation with this one question, and that is this. Out of this, conversation we've had a great one. What is the one question that you wish that I asked you on this podcast, and how would you have answered it?
Damn, what's the one question I wish you would have asked me? What's my favorite strain of Horseshoe Genetics cannabis seeds?
And how would you have answered that, Ben?
I would go with lemon skunk autoflower, which I have to apparently rebuild the website because of some tech snafus that they erased most of it last night. But soon it'll be right back up there. And at horseshoegenetics.com, over 80 plus cannabis seeds, premium from me and my partners. I'm excited about it. Move into the cannabis industry as it's ever changing in America. We just got a new $20,000 Orange Photonics Light Lab testing facility. So a whole new side of Horseshoe Genetics, and we're working on Horseshoe Genetics nutrients to compete with Fox Farms, which is the leader in the industry. So I've got a lot of very cool business in the cannabis space to start working on, and more creative and more money coming in. But those are all the plugs that I got, man. When it comes to phony wrestling, we can talk about that anytime, all day. It's going to be the same old shit of, well, I gave them the right answer, but they stuck their thumb up their ass anyway.
But that's it, man. Well, look, Ben Hamin, guys, make sure you go follow Ben. Make sure you go check out Hamin Media Group, Russo's brand, channel Attitude, all that. Go subscribe today. You are going to get some amazing content over there, and trust me, you're not going to get as honest and direct from the pros by the pros every single week. So go and check them all out. But also, huge shout out to our sponsor, Sleeves.com. Go and check them out. Use that promo code MWAPOD. But also make sure wherever you are finding, you're hitting that subscribe button, follow, all that good shit, because this podcast comes to you free multiple times a week. If you want to support, you can go and buy some merch over at Wrestler Merch if you're in Australia, or if you're international, go and check out Store Frontier. You can give bits, super stickers, all that good shit. It all helps. It all goes to bringing a better product to you, my amazing audience. But Ben, thank you so much, brother. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and I look forward to the next one.
Y'all infidels down under, you just had your shit shot. Uncensored here, Piers Austin Network, Hacker Hamin. YOLO.